more air in the engine means faster ignition. That leads to the faster detonation of the mix. With high octane fuel, this is out of the question. But if you pump lower octane fuel into your car, you just kill your engine. Don't worry though, putting diesel fuel in a gas-powered engine by accident is a common mistake. The problem is many fuel stations provide a gas nozzle right next to the diesel one. If you are not paying attention, they can potentially grab one over the other and pump the wrong fuel into your car. So what happens if you pump wrong fuel into your car? First of all, gasoline can actually be different. In the US, the most typical numbers you will see at the gas stations are 87, 89, and 92. In other parts of the world, you will find 91, 95, and 98. The higher the number value, the higher the cost of the fuel. So it might seem natural to go with the cheaper one and save you some cash, but it's not easier than it sounds. In fact, these numbers indicate the fuel's octane rating. So what is fuel's octane rating? It is the measure of how well the gas resists knocking at the time of combustion. A higher octane fuel will tell you how well the gas will perform in your engine. By normal conditions, 87 and 92 are basically the same. By pumping the 92, you can reduce your carbon emissions and your car consume less fuel. Now, if I could just reduce my emissions. Okay, 87 is a type of gas for old cars. 89 is a mid-grade octane rating that is suitable for newer vehicles. And 92 is the premium gasoline that is required to drive elite and sport cars. But even the newer automobiles can demand 92 and nothing below that. The thing is that if the user's manual says that you can pump any of the three fuels 87, 89 and 92 into the vehicle, then the choice is absolutely yours. But if the octane rating is important for your vehicle, then you should not use any fuel that has lower octane rating than required. And why is that? Okay, let's find out. When you put fuel with low octane rating than your car needs, your car produces a knocking sound and cannot even start in the first attempt. This is because the fuel mixes with the air in the engine, and if the octane number is too low, this can combust too fast and damage the engine. Oops. Some vehicles demand higher octane fuel because their engine receives more air thanks to the supercharging. The other reason is the higher compression ratio, which increases pressure in the cylinders. The engine becomes more efficient with this feature. So if you pump 87 in a car with a supercharged engine that requires at least 92, you will immediately hear a knocking sound as soon as you turn on the ignition. Most vehicles have a protection system that does not allow the car to start with less octane fuel. High octane fuel costs more because of the components added to boost them, and those are expensive. The more they add, the higher the cost, which is pure logic. So what will happen if you pump diesel in a gas engine? Diesel power engines are absolutely different in the way they work. Diesel and gas have different ways of combustion. What works for gas is useless with diesel and vice versa. Diesel is not just a fuel, it's also a lubricant, a quality that gas does not have. Gas in a diesel engine will detonate too fast upon combustion, creating knocking. It will also leave the fuel injector without lubrication, which leads to its rapid damage. If you are at fuel station, it might seem natural to grab the cheaper fuel and go with it. You might think this saves you money. However, the cost of repairing the engine will outweigh fuel's economy by far. Here's the difference between gas and diesel engines. In a gas engine, gasoline is blended with chemicals to avoid self-ignition. This type of engine runs a vehicle by using spark plugs to ignite gas and air.
In a gas engine, gasoline is blended with chemicals to avoid self-ignition. This type of engine runs a vehicle by using spark plugs to ignite gas and air.
In a diesel engine, there is no spark plugs because diesel can ignite on its own with highly compressed hot air. Gas engine ignites with the vaporized gas, which is lighter and less oily. Pumping diesel in the gas engine, which is oilier and heavier than gas,
is a disaster.
There are fewer possibilities of the happening of such scenario because diesel nozzles are bigger than those of gas cars. In contrast, it prevents intrusion inside the neck of the petrol nozzle, which is small, so that the driver don't put diesel into a gas engine in any case. In terms of application, diesel is mostly used by heavy trucks, buses, boats, and vehicles that require a higher torque rating and low-end pulling power. Gasoline powertrains are most often associated with passenger cars, SUVs, and light-duty trucks. So what's the difference between diesel and gas? They are both derived from crude oil. Gasoline and diesel have different physical properties. Gasoline is much thinner and has a distinct odor. Diesel has a thinner state of fluidity, almost like a lightweight oil. Diesel is not as combustible as gasoline. Since each fuel has its own auto-ignition temperature, diesel and gasoline engines work differently. A gasoline engine utilizes spark plugs to ignite the fuel, while a diesel engine uses the pressure created by compression ratio within the engine to ignite fuel. In other words, diesel is heated up by being squeezed, while the gasoline is lit with fire. Furthermore, gasoline is often mixed with as much as 10% ethanol, a highly flammable organic compound used as a biofuel additive. Ethanol makes gasoline even more combustible than it already is. So what happens if accidentally, even though I have no idea why you will do that, pump diesel into your car engine? When you realize that you have accidentally put diesel fuel into your gas tank, immediate action is necessary. Leaving diesel in a gas tank for a long time is not a good idea. Above all, don't start the vehicle in any ways. You will want to leave your vehicle taken to a garage for drainage right away. Attempting to operate the car would cause the diesel fuel to enter the fuel line in the engine system, which will make the repair process far more complicated and costly. So you don't want to do that, do you? Now, what if you pump gas into a diesel engine? The fact that you pumped diesel in a gas engine is far better than pumping gasoline into a diesel engine, which can be far more dangerous. Let's say you accidentally fill up your gas tank with 50% diesel. It's quite possible that your car will not start and you will have to take your car to a service to empty the tank. Gasoline needs to have an octane rating of 87 to 91 to fit today's car engine, and diesel has octane rating of 25 to 30. This means that pumping diesel fuel into a gas tank can lower the octane level needed and cause damage to the gas engine. The more diesel pumped into a gas tank, the higher the level of diesel contamination. All of these can cause significant damage to the engine and interconnected parts that work together to make your car move. What is the cost? Draining the tank could cost anywhere from $200 to $500, depending on whether the tank needs to be dropped and how much diesel is present. If diesel fuel has entered the engine, the repair job can easily climb into the $1,500 to $2,000 range. If you drain the diesel immediately, the internals of your car will not be damaged, since the engine did not work on the diesel. But if the draining does not work, you should prepare yourself a bill to disassemble your engine and putting it back together again, dry. If you make such mistake, be ready to replace some parts of your car. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.